Hi everyone, and we're so glad you could join us today at Rose Red Homestead. We do a lot of fun things, a lot of experimental things, wild and crazy things, all of them aimed toward our three main principles that we're going after, which is emergency preparedness, food security, and self-reliance. I frankly cannot believe that in almost 6 years coming up in March, I have never done a video on making homemade flour tortillas. That's just ridiculous when I realized that the other day. Flour tortillas are one of the easiest things you can make and one of the most versatile in the kitchen. Especially they will be useful in uncertain times. If the grid goes down or if grocery stores are no longer available, that the flatbread of flour tortillas is such a versatile bread. You can use it for all kinds of things, and we'll be showing some things going forward. And we have actually some recipes already involving flour tortillas, some dishes that work with our food storage. And this certainly is a level 1 food because it's flour from our food storage, it is salt from our food storage, it is baking powder. These are all from level 1, which we just took right out of the pantry. The fat that we're going to be using today is lard, but our recipe is so easy that you can, and versatile, that you can also use shortening or butter or even vegetable oil. The recipe itself is just going to be right below the description of the video, or actually it's such a simple recipe you can jot it down yourself while I'm making it right on camera. So we are going to start today with a cup and 2/3 of all-purpose flour. And this is our King Arthur flour that I have used for several years and just love it. It's my go-to flour. And we have plenty of this stored. Now notice that I am just dumping that right on the counter. I'm going to use the same method that I use when making pie crust. Okay, and we'll set this aside. And then I'm going to put in a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, just a little tiny bit of baking powder. And that's it. Then I'm going to take my 2 bench scrapers and just mix these 2 things together. I'm adding in the fat. Now this is the method that I would use if I were using the solid fat of the shortening, butter, or in this case, the lard. The solid fat makes a little bit more tender tortilla, but oil, if you have nothing else, works just as fine as well. So now I'm going to be cutting in this fat to the flour, and this is going to take me probably 5 minutes to do. So I'm going to keep doing this and we'll come back when it's all cut in. At this point, this is where our procedure now deviates from the way that I do pie crust. I cut that fat in to where it's much smaller pieces than I do when I do pie crust. I want everything to be smaller than a pea and as small as possible. You could probably get some pretty good results if you did this in a food processor. I like to be in control of it, so I guess maybe I'm a control freak. I just like to know for sure what the result is going to be. So I made a well, and I'm now adding a 1/2 cup of hot water. And I'm just going to mix this in. The beauty of doing it this way with these bench scrapers is that you can catch any runaway liquid without any problem. And the hot water will help the fat melt a little bit into the flour. So we want this to be mixed together until it all comes together in a ball. And unlike pie crust at this point in time, I'm going to get in here with my hands and we're going to knead this. This will help it come into a ball as well. It's not going to be kneaded like bread. The purpose of the kneading is more for mixing all of the ingredients together and make it a homogeneous mix, which means that everything is mixed in. It is a soft dough. So it's all in a ball now. I'm going to gather up these other little pieces. And we are going to cover it and let it sit for 20 minutes. I bought a whole package. I think I got 100 of these little food covers. Actually, I think I'll put the link down below in case you want to check those out. They come in so handy. I now proof my bread when it's in the bread pans this way, and it covers food when I don't want, bugs or anything if we're outside to get in contact with the food. So they're very, very handy. So we're just going to leave this to sit for 20 minutes. What's going to be happening during that 20 minutes is that the flour is going to absorb the liquid and it will change in consistency just a little bit. So we'll be back in about 20 minutes. All right, the alarm just went off, so we're going to uncover our dough, and I'm going to give it a little dose of flour here. And I'm going to weigh it. Notice that I have my kitchen scale enclosed in a little baggie. It just is great to keep it clean. So in grams, we have 460 grams. Hey Siri, what is 460 divided by 6?
460 divided by 6 is approximately 76.6666.
Okay, so 76 grams. We're going to divide this into 6 pieces of dough at 76 grams each. So let's just do that, see how close we get with the first one. That's 77. Never, ever do I get that close.
It's not too shabby.
No, I know. 95. 76. Okay, next is to roll these into a ball. So this is how I do rolling dough into balls. I tuck in all of the edges to make it fairly smooth on the top, and then I put it under my cupped hand and roll it on a countertop that sort of grabs it so that I can do a ball just like that. So, pinching everything together. I'm going to preheat my frying pan. The directions say to use a cast iron skillet for this, and you certainly can do that. I'm just going to use my frying pan because I can get 2 on at a time, which makes it very, very nice. All right, the next step then is to roll these balls into about 8-inch tortillas. We want to get them thin so that they look like and act like tortillas. Okay, so that's pretty close. And we're just going to put that right on this ungreased frying pan. And it will cook a minute or 2 on each side. And while that one is cooking, I can get this one ready. That frying pan is on about 350, 375 degrees. And we want those to cook on both sides until we have little char marks on them. These are so good. Once you start making your own, you probably won't go back to store-bought. And you can make these almost as fast as you can go to the grocery store and pick up a package of these if you are out of them. So that makes it very convenient too. So the recipe says just a minute or so on each side. I have found, and it will vary with how you're going to cook them, I have found that it takes sometimes a little bit longer than that much per side. So I'm going to flip this one, we'll see how it's doing. Okay, so we're getting some browning there, which looks really good. Let's see how this one is doing. And that one is as well. I'm putting it on the other side. Now if they start to puff up like that, we don't want those puffs to be cooked into the dough, so I just stick it with a fork. Let that steam escape so that they stay flat. We are finished, and I'll tell you, I got better with time over making them round. Oh, this one isn't quite done, so we're going to let it go for a minute. But this, look at this one. Woo! I got it pretty round. So we are going to do a taste test with the major consumer of flour tortillas in our household, who is, you guessed it, Jim. So I'm just going to put some cheese on the top of this tortilla. So how does this look? Do you want banana peppers on it?
No, that's okay.
Oh, so I'm going to put this in the microwave, melt the cheese, and then we'll bring Jim over for a taste test. Okay, here it is. We're going to let that cool for just a minute. It's pretty hot. So here are our tortillas all safeguarded inside these dish towels. So they can be used immediately. If you're not going to use them immediately, you can pack them between layers of parchment paper and stick them in a plastic bag in the refrigerator. So here's our stack of wonderful tortillas. So they still need a little bit of cooling. I'm going to keep them under a dish towel while they cool and steam a little bit. These are, of course, clean dish towels. We'll set them aside and bring Jim over. I'm going to take my mic off and put it down on the counter so you can't hear us chewing, which is gross. One of our videos, actually more than one, I heard us chomping. So, okay, let's have a little taste of this and see what you think.
Just like homemade.
They are homemade. Oh, I got flour on you.
Well,
I have flour on both hands, and now you're really covered with flour.
Well, I was attempting to not to have to compete with what I get at the store, so that's
Well,
why
I want you to compete with what you get at the store.
I see.
So how are they?
They're very good.
I think they're wonderful. I think they're better than homemade.
They are homemade.
Okay, now be honest with our audience. They're going to want to know what you really think. How do these compare with what you get all the time from the store?
These are nice.
Are they nicer?
Of course they're nicer.
No pressure, honey.
No pressure. Never any pressure.
Okay, well, it's very fun. It's very easy. You can make a stack of 6 or double the recipe and get 12. You can use them immediately. You can store them in your refrigerator for several days. You can freeze them. And so it is a wonderful alternative to buying them at the store. And as I said at the beginning of the video, they are such a wonderful addition to be able to have the ingredients ready to make them if things turn south and we're in uncertain times and need to rely just on what we have stored, we will at least have plenty of ingredients to make flour tortillas to use as a flatbread many, many different ways. So this is a good recipe to have. It's quick and easy. So I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you try it. If you do try it, let us know how it turned out for you in the comments underneath the video. So thanks for being with us. And are you going to have another one?
Oh, of course I'm going to have another one. It's homemade.
All right, and we will see you again soon for more videos.
Mmm, mmm, mmm.